It's a very clear mission to help to reduce poverty in Saskatoon.
I think the most important thing is working locally and giving hope to people and groups and organizations that didn't have hope before.
We had our launch of Community First in year 2000. There was a group of us around before that, and one of the names of the groups was the Multi-Faith Social Justice Circle, and that's where it started. They wanted to help the poor. It wasn't just a question of handouts, it was a question of giving them dignity.
So Quint was one of a few founding organizations of Community First as part of a whole agenda or system to move community economic development forward in Saskatoon. We needed access to financing so we could do development projects. And so that was sort of how some of us were viewing the early days of Community First.
At the credit union, our goal was to try to punch above our weight. We're, in terms of the size of the marketplace, we're still a small organization. But we thought if we could do things that were constructive, it would help set a tone in the community. And Community First is very much a part of that.
Yeah, I think that when Community First started, they came to us and asked if we would give them $100,000 to invest in Community First. We were very excited and very happy to do it, and so that's what we did. That was so good that we decided to add another $100,000. So right now we have $200,000 in Community First.
We do many, many different things.
We have a lot of options. We offer to individuals, to organizations, to small businessmen, to housing projects, to a lot of different things. So we're not a narrow track microcredit program.
Community First jumped on board, giving us the money to use it as capital, whereas a lot of funding won't do that, especially for small businesses. We couldn't have done it definitely without them. Community First has done this, got us up and running. They're getting private investments to help out with the smaller businesses, so one day I'd like to be able to contribute to that. I want to give back to the community, absolutely, and if they can keep doing it, it's going to inspire a lot of our small businesses to do the same thing.
We have the first organic, eco-friendly salon in Saskatchewan, I believe. We're right next to the farmers market, which is nice because it attracts like-minded clientele that are interested in environmental awareness and more natural alternatives. I had finished my business plan and I was looking for funding and hitting a brick wall, and they then helped us out by granting us a loan in order to get things such as inventory, which is pretty tough to find when you're starting a new business. It would be great if Community First continued doing what they were doing in the community to help support other new business ventures, get going and continue operations.
Juniper Housing, which is a housing project for senior citizens of Asian ancestry. And they were fundraising to build this building. We worked at it 1 year with them, and it was up the next year. I was amazed at how quick they were doing that. Station 20 West is another one that we have great hopes for. It's a little slower, but it's a bigger project, more people involved, and not very much corporate attention paid to it. And I think that speaks to why Community First needs to exist, because what corporations ignore or don't see as a possibility, we can give some hope for.
We thought that one way that we as a financial institution could get marginalized kids who were just about ready to quit school and had a lot of barriers to them, we could offer them 40 hours of financial literacy.
We work in resumes, cover letters. We bring in speakers from the Affinity Credit Union, and they help the students learn how to budget and save.
I'm gonna be a nurse practitioner. Right now I don't have a job though. I've been looking and looking. Nothing really happened, but I am volunteering at an old folks home. We do presentations too, so it helps them to get out there in the real world and to talk to people.
I'm saving up for a car. That's what I want to spend my money on.
That is possibly the best part of all of it. We're supposed to save up $400 in a special closed account, and then at the end they match it by double.
And they end up with $1,200 to help them put towards something of great importance.
I know I'm using it to buy a new computer, because I'm a huge techie, and other people, cars, education, house bills, pretty much anything that's important to them. Well, it taught me a lot about where I was making mistakes in the job search previously, because I was making so many kind of amateur mistakes, but now I'm good at it.
Community First is very supportive of our program.
It's worked fantastic. It's, you know, we consistently always try for kids who are about to leave school. Their ability to be able to stick with the program and go through 40 hours of financial literacy after school that they were planning on quitting anyways is very, very remarkable.
She and her husband were on welfare, and she had a dream to be a dog groomer. And yet this is a woman who it looked like they were going nowhere, and yet she worked very hard to make her dream come true.
I was at a real crunch, and we went to pretty much every bank, and nobody would help. Community First, a lifesaver, really. Did some interviews, and it took about 5 months, and we had a loan, and we got started.
And there were moments when we were worried whether they would be able to repay their loan, but they stuck with it and they did a good job and they paid off their loan, and I thought that's marvelous.
If it wasn't for Community First, I would not be able to have my dream.
We market fish and seafood products from around the globe into Saskatoon here. I was trying to get a loan to expand because I started off with whatever I had. I phoned everywhere, and they're the only ones who helped small business within the first 3 years of opening.
We've also lent money directly to nonprofit organizations. In between granting times or the government was slow, you know, sending them their money. There's no point letting this organization die when it's a matter of just some bridging money. We've just done it today for Sarby, just signed the things for the brain injury group.
Our grade 8 class in Equijustice is doing a special year. So they called me and could they volunteer with Community First. So I had them stuff envelopes, even write thank you notes to go to some of the donors. We picked their brains a bit in terms of looking for way out fundraising ideas. Our donors and our investors are making possible all of these things that we do.
Community First has proven itself to have stability and longevity. And so it's part of the way I look at it, it's part of the basket of organizations that provide capacity in the community.
You know, people from the poor end of the social stratus can see themselves as being just as equal as everybody else, and that's what we want. We want an equal society. We don't want big gaps. We want everyone to have the same chances.
And I think that as Community First develops more partnerships, I think that it's going to be an ever more important part of the community.
Community First can act as a vehicle that can help us and the credit unions lever important resources into alternative but much needed investments into low-income community economic development initiatives. If you can unleash some financial resources, I think we've demonstrated that there's a lot of positive things can happen.
It makes sense to invest in your local community is the final message.
Community First!
Oh.